What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's Horror Fan 34, and welcome to another video. And welcome to another review for the Chris's Movie Challenge. Now we're getting on to the 11th film of the challenge. Now we're kind of venturing into a film that deals with both horror and humor at the same time, a horror comedy. And I think it's definitely one of the best horror comedies out there. And surprisingly enough, I don't own the film. I want to get the Blu-ray at some point, the special edition on Blu-ray. I know my local place around here does have the Blu-ray used for like $5, so I'd like to pick that up at some point. Surprisingly enough, I don't own the film, and I've seen it so many times, and I love the film. It's one of my favorite '80s movies, and I figured this would be a really good one to talk about during the holiday season. And of course, that review is going to be on Gremlins from 1984. Now, what more can you say about Gremlins that has not been said before? Everybody knows the plot to Gremlins. When buys this Mogwai from Chinatown, and of course, it has the 3 rules: keep it out of the light, don't feed it after midnight, and don't get it wet. Those are the 3 rules with taking care of a Mogwai. And unfortunately, one of them does. And then, of course, there's a whole multiplicity of more gremlins who take over the town. And, I mean, what more can you say that hasn't been said before? Now, what I think makes Gremlins one of the best horror comedies is the fact that this film really does a good job of mixing humor, but also with the horror aspect, like the more serious moments in the film. One prime example of that, like going to a horror standpoint, like more of the horror side, where you have the mom being basically John Rambo, pretty much, with going against these gremlins. And of course, putting some of the gremlins in the blender and, stabbing the shit out of one of them getting exploded in the microwave. So, a lot of really fun kills of the gremlins. And of course, when I talk about, like, the humor side, there's a point in the film where the gremlins are at this, like, bar, and then you have, like, all these gremlins that have all kinds of different personalities to them. You have the gremlins that are females. You have female gremlins. You have gremlins that love to flash dance. You have gremlins that like to play cards. So like there's some really good creative juices when it comes to the gremlins themselves. And on top of that too, you get even more of the personalities of the gremlins in Gremlins 2, which I also really love. And on top of that, too, one of the other things that really makes this movie really good as well is the cast, the human cast of characters. You have Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, of course, Dick Miller. May he rest in peace. I miss Dick Miller. Really good character actor. Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight and a lot of other stuff. I miss Dick Miller. Really solid actor. And, Zach Galligan as Billy, very likable, sweet, normal guy, doing the best that he can, things like that. And what's a shame is, Zach Galligan didn't really get a whole lot of roles, other than Gremlins and Waxwork 2 and Gremlins 2. But also, Zach Galligan, I actually have the Blu-ray back here. Let's see if I can... Actually, over there, right over there, you can't really see it, but Point Doom, that's a film that I reviewed, where that had dealt with a motorcycle gang, and Zach Galligan was one of the villains. And I thought Zach Galligan was a pretty damn good bad guy in Point Doom. So, yeah, like, when I think of Zach Galligan, I think of, Gremlins 1 and 2, Waxwork 1 and 2, Point Doom, and of course Hatchet 3. I almost forgot about Hatchet 3. But Zach Galligan didn't really get too many roles, and I think that's one of the main reasons why was because when people think of Gremlins, they think of Gizmo and the Gremlins characters, not the human cast. Which is a shame because I really do think the cast does a great job. You know, Zach Galligan, like I said before, does a good job. I really like Phoebe Cates. And I always keep forgetting, too, that Howie Mandel was the voice of Gizmo. I keep forgetting that's Howie Mandel. I like Howie Mandel. Little Monsters and Deal or No Deal. He wanted to host that, and I think he's on not American Idol. I think America's Got Talent. I think he's on that. I don't know if he still is or not, but I think he is. I know they just came back with Deal or No Deal. I think on NBC, and he's back hosting that. And Howie Mandel, I always like Howie Mandel. He does a good job as the voice of Gizmo. And on top of that too, also forgot to mention, directed by Joe Dante. Joe Dante, really big fan of him as a director. Joe Dante directed a couple segments in Amazon Women on the Moon, which is a great comedy. I mean, Joe Dante. I mean, a lot of really good stuff that he did over the years. Joe Dante. And the special effects are really, really good as well. I think the effects are done by Chris Walas. I think that's the same guy that went on to do The Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz. I believe that's the same guy. He was mainly known as like a special effects kind of like guy. Things like that. And I think he did the special effects on the first movie. I could be wrong though, but the special effects in here are really, really, really good, especially like the close-up shots on Gizmo and the special effects on the Gremlins themselves. Really good practical effects. You know, it's those kind of effects too that I really do miss in movies nowadays, where there's a lot of practical puppetry and things like that. And you know, Chris Walas did a really good job on the set design of the creatures. Does a really nice job. And I mean, what more can you say about Gremlins? I mean, I don't think I could say more about Gremlins. It's a fun movie. What more can you say about Gremlins? So that's pretty much it for my review for Gremlins. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.